Yo, once again, welcome to United and Everything Football Podcast. We are back. The Ruben Amorim era is about to begin. The show is about to begin. As you saw from the intro, you could see some of the pictures as he took his first training session on Monday. He really set the whole internet ablaze. Charlie. The way people are talking about the trade, hey, United fans, people excited too. Charlie, why is excited? But you know the funny thing. Before I bring it in, I'm in a common group with Kwame. Kwame was like, you know what? I root.
You know, all this while I've been trying to control.
I'm trying to remain cautious.
I've been like, oh, here we go again. Here we go. And then that video drops. They're like, nah.
I was like, nah, Charlie. Ticho, great to have you. Good to have you on the podcast.
Good to be here always. Brilliant to be here always.
Charlie, what's the inspiration for today's durag?
I've been wearing durag for a long time. I've never had it on the pod.
It's new to us on the pod.
It's made its debut on the pod.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't know I wear it. I've never really taken pictures.
Mami is actually another huge durag fan. I'm surprised he's never worn it to the pod.
Like, and you also wear it, but you know what?
He likes it a lot.
It's something I wear. Sometimes I wear it to sleep. I wear it to play tennis. I wear it to I wear durag. It's just
for the culture.
For the culture. Anyway, guys, I think wearing it was
thought about him, but Charlie didn't work. So
it didn't work.
You know what to do. Subscribe to the channel. We are close to 2,000 subscribers, so please do so. Just finish it up for us in this episode. Use this episode to kill us, all right? So we are here to do something great, trying to break down the system from Ruben Amorim, what to expect, which players United have, and how it will fit in. In the course of it, Sicho will present his team. We requested that Sicho does his team, and then Kwame also presents his team. And something interesting that happened. I told them, and I didn't tell anyone about the other person's team. But when we get the review, it will shock you.
Oh, geez.
It will shock you. Let's make a quick turnaround when we come back. I will try and break down the Ruben Amorim system for you so that you get to understand exactly what it means. We'll be right back after this. Now, a lot of you have been wondering, what is this whole 3 centre-back or 3-back system of Ruben Amorim like, and how is the setup like? So you already have an idea. He likes to play the 3-4-2-1 formation, but how is the arrangement like? Now, his setup typically includes a ball-playing goalkeeper. We already have one in the mode of Andre Onana in the club. A ball-playing goalkeeper who is able to progress play, who is able to engage in build-up, who is able to step out of line to help or form part of the team, the back line, and be able to help him build up for the team. Now, not just a ball-playing goalkeeper, but he usually has 3 centre-backs who are skilled in possession as well. Now, with the 2 wide centre-backs taking on more expansive roles, I mean, the wide centre-backs being the one on the right and then the one on the left, with the one central not necessarily being one who is a ball player, but one who defends or engages in duels very, very well. So that's basically that 3-back system for Ruben Amorim's team. Now, on the flanks, Amorim uses wing-backs. Now, where the right wing-back plays more of an attacking role, while the left wing-back focuses on distributing passes or delivering crosses from deeper positions. Now, you already see his team. Now, he used to have Pedro Porro, currently at Tottenham Hotspur, as his right wing-back. So that's the quality that he used to have. Now, he's having now the likes of Giovanni Kuenda playing right wing-back for them. But which of the United players do you think will fit in? Well, you can leave in the comment section. But this is what the wing backs do for Ruben Amorim's team. The one on the right flank playing a more attacking role, and the one on the left side being the one delivering crosses from deeper position. And these players should be players who should be able to run the channels very, very well for Ruben Amorim's team. Now in midfield, there are two central players that have very key functional roles. Currently, he has Martin Human as his number 6 at Sporting. He's no more at Sporting, but Martin Human is the one who played number 6, but he used to have João Palhinha, who is currently at Bayern Munich, as his number 6. What does the person do? More of a defensive midfielder, screening, making sure that you are breaking up play, preventing the opponent from, building attacks or mounting attacks towards them. A role that was formerly held by Manuel Ugarte, who is currently with Manchester United now. And now he has a number 8, currently being held by Morita. The number 8 is more or less like a box-to-box kind of a midfielder. And what does the number 8 do? Well, he provides an additional passing option. Often advancing into attack and to help in the build-up process for the team to be able to create more chances in whatever they are doing. Now, in attack, Amorim adopts a very flexible attacking system. Now, the striker is a well-rounded forward with the strength and the technical ability to hold up play and combine with the pace and aggression to exploit wide areas or to be able to run the channels. Now, the two attacking midfielders bring a lot of variety. On the left is a traditional playmaker who contributes to chance creation and goals, while on the right features another attacking or a nimble, skillful winger, currently being occupied by Trincao in the Sporting team for Ruben Amorim's team. So this is just a fair idea of how the structure works at Sporting or at Ruben Amorim's team that he's been using. So there's a 3-back, there's 4 in the middle, there's 6 and 8, and then the right and the left wing back. There are 2 attackers also occupying just the key central zones, or they are what we refer to as inside forwards, and then there's a number 9 who runs the channel, who holds up play. What do you think when you look at the current United players? Who fits into these roles? That's what I'll be asking my guests here on United and Everything Football. So let me make a quick turnaround. When I come back, I'm going to ask them what they make of this and which players they are going to fit in these roles. We'll be right back after this. All right, thank you very much. So that was a quick breakdown of Ruben Amorim's team, trying to make you understand the various roles that each of the players will play: the 3-back, the wing backs, the 2 midfielders, the 2 attacking players, and the striker in the 3-4-2-1 formation. It's very clear. It's very simple. Pretty simple. But let me get to the guys. Charlie, Kwame, I'll start with you. The way you excite, the training video that you saw, what really got you all gassed like that?
The thing is, if you do remember what happened in the group that day, we looked at the number of first team players that were available. There were just 10 of them.
Yes.
And hours before that training video actually was released, I had put in the group how these 10 players would line up. And it was
exactly the same.
It was exactly the same from the videos. That's what got me gassed. I was like, yeah. So rocket science. He's not coming to do something that is out of the norm or something that we shouldn't expect. Just come and do. Sometimes simplicity is genius, as they call it. Just do the simple stuff. Come and do what we know you to do. Don't come and tell us you want to marry the Ajax system with the United way of playing and all those. We shall retire all those things. So I was just glad that it was something straightforward, something I expected. And despite the fact that it's just 7 minutes, would you call it a snippet?
Yeah.
You can clearly see that he just wants to get right at it. We broke down its interview in the last episode, and he said we don't have too many sessions to go before our first league game. So as soon as possible, he has to imprint what he knows. And what he knows is what we saw in the video. So hopefully with more bodies coming back, more first team players coming back, he can get some sessions in, and then we would see something this weekend, just as he has promised.
All right, Sicho, I'm sure you saw the video. What really went through in your mind? I mean, what were you thinking? I mean, seeing that video that was released by United.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, United was trying to send a message across that a new man is in town, and things were changing in town. But I liked what I saw because it was Ruben Amorim who was staying true to his character. I'm not sure anybody was surprised with the the clues or the cues to pick from the video. You know, it's very consistent with what we all expected that he will bring to the fore. It looks very much like Sporting Lisbon were training this time, when they were training as Man United players. So it was at least refreshing to see that the manager will stay, at least for now. It looks like he will stay true to himself. He will stay true to what has worked for him, and he will try to get a lot of the players to buy into the ideas for which Man United saw him and brought him on board. So we'll see if indeed, or in the end, he's able to communicate that to the thoughts of the players, and if the players are capable of applying it on the pitch. So yeah, that is what I picked from it. Not something I didn't expect.
It's not deep. It's not that deep.
Yeah, it's not that deep, but I'm happy he's staying true to himself. We've seen a lot of managers come to Man United, and in the more recent manner, Ten Hag had to lose his way to try and be, as Kwame said, be a Man United way, a counter-attacking team, when he's never really been that kind of coach. Ruben Amorim, it looks like, if he's not played the game yet, but from what we saw, it looks like he's training the team to play like he played at Sporting.
Very interesting. Yeah, he said, like, I remember in his last interview or his last press conference as Sporting coach, what he said was that he's going to start with what he knows. At least that's going to be his starting point. And we saw it in the first training session that he held with the players. And we'll see. We talked about, if you've not watched our last episode where we broke down the interview that he had with club media, we spoke a lot about his idea, talking about identity and all of those things. You can just go and then watch it. We say that identity is not a formation. Identity is that when you see the team, you see a certain character. And that's what perhaps he's trying to see. But we are waiting. It's part of the things we'll be discussing here on this episode tonight. All right. Kwame, I forgot to tell you, the players. Casemiro, good session. What was Rashford also saying?
Top training.
Top session.
Top training.
These
so boys. You see, the problem is, let me tell you, they are going to react. As they react, when I say it, people make it sound like it's the same cup of players. It's not the same cup of players. We've had different sets of players over the past 11 years. It's never been the same. But the problem is, when a new manager walks in, the first 6 months to 1 year, they give it a right good go. The problem is, after a year, then you see the same old habits rear its head. It's almost like as if they don't buy into the culture completely, or the manager is not able to change the culture at the football club. So I'm not looking at what happens over the next 6 months, because I think we'll have a good season. I think Amorim will turn things around. But going forward from the summer, that's the issue. That's where I have problems. He shouldn't feel that, the squad is okay, everything is fine. Whichever player doesn't buy into it fully should probably be given the axe. If we have to augment our squad with certain very, very good players, world-class, close to world-class players, we should do so in the earnest and don't let the opportunity just fly by.
All right. Okay. So that's
that's where I think that's where Ineos comes in now. Ineos have got their man. Everything that wasn't necessarily their man. It's Ruben Amorim who is their man. Now, Ruben Amorim, if he stays true to himself and his character and his style and his principles, there will surely be players who fall out of that principle. And that would be because the players are terrible or bad. That will only be simply because these players can't play the way Ruben Amorim wants to play. Right. Then we're down to Ineos to find a way of getting these players out of the club. Because what has happened to other coaches is that when these coaches have found a template or a system, there are many players who hang around the club who don't suit or fit into that system. And they become a problem. Some of them have got friends. Some of them have terrible attitudes because they are not playing. And it affects the entire culture the new coaches want to create. So if Ruben Amorim sets his template and there are players who unfortunately can't play that way, Ineos needs to get these players out of the door and bring in more players who are suitable to Ruben Amorim's style, because he's their man and they need to back him.
He's their man and they need to back him. I will stay with you, Cicho. So I'm going to present your team as you sent to me for us to put in our graphic. So this is Cicho's team, as you can see in there, and it will stay on for some time as he tries to explain it. So in Cicho's team, there is Onana. Then after that, in the back three, we have Lenny Euro on the right. We have Lisandro Martinez on the left. Then we have in the middle, Matthias de Ligt. Now, at right wing back, we have Diogo Dalot. At left wing back, we have Nuzer Mazraoui. And in the middle of the pack, we have Ugarte and Casemiro. In the two attacking midfield position, or what we refer to as the inside forward, or whatever you would want to call it. You have Bruno Fernandes on the left, Amad Diallo on the right, and up front for Sicho, as you can see, is Marcus Rashford. Sicho, why have you gone with this team? And you have in doing so, you can fuse in how Ruben Amorim's principles generally works.
Oh yeah, so I was looking at the players who are fit and the players who, in my opinion, fit Ruben Amorim's style. To be very honest, I've not necessarily seen Ruben Amorim's team play in games where they are facing teams that are by far inferior to Sporting. So when I've seen his team play, they've played against teams that are, if you like, at their level or better. So that has influenced my thought coming to it. And most of the time I've seen his team play, they are not overly dominating games. They can be very deep at times, but being deep doesn't mean you're defending. Being deep can also be a bait. But even though they start playing from deep, they are devastating because they know how to draw opponents into spaces where they can get around them. And so when you watch a lot of the goals that Gyökeres has scored, he's latching onto balls, he's latching onto through balls, he's how to make deep, runs from deep. He's got his inside forward picking passes from deep. And that is the Ruben Amorim way that he plays. But the reason why I pick this team is because, okay, let's say if these players are fit, if Lenny Euro is fit, is that some training sessions, you can trust him to start. He's the only caveat in that team. But if the team is fit, I pick him. That he starts on the right because he's got great ball carrying ability. He's comfortable with playing out from the back. He takes the ball. He's got pace about him. He's comfortable playing wide. You need in the back three, you need your wide centre back to be comfortable in going into the wide area. So I pick Lenny Euro and Martinez to do that. Because we know Martinez can even play as a left back. Now Matthias De Ligt is the least comfortable centre back in going into the wide area. So I put him in the middle. And I have a problem with putting him in the middle, but he's going to be the best fit. I think in the middle of the back three, you need somebody who is a confident leader who can organize the others around him. But I think that with Martinez around him, they can always have that communication going around. So that would be my back three. And then the reason why I also pick this back three is because the back three of Ruben Amorim are crucial to even the way they attack, not only the way they defend. Because the positions that they pick when they are building up is crucial. So they are his wide. Whereas a lot of teams when they are building up in the back three, their fullbacks or their wing backs drop to pick the ball. Ruben Amorim's fullback stay in the middle of the park to be part of the midfield. Now his three centre backs are allowed, especially the wide centre backs are allowed to go wide and also allow the two DMs to also drop in and pick up the ball or push the goalkeeper forward to be an extra defender in build-up phases. So you need players who, when they go wide, can be comfortable with playing on the line. So there's Martinez, there's Euro, and then there is De Ligt. Now, in front of them, I pick Casemiro and Ugarte because of the options available. I think that they are the most solid partnership that we've got. And from where United are now, United need a solid base, something to build on. Ruben Amorim can come to Man United and all of a sudden pick a midfield that is only very brilliant on the ball, that is not rugged enough to close down, to chase, to put in tackles. So you need a midfield to be compact and trust others around them to be able to do a lot more of the flair. So whereas Casemiro and Ugarte will not give him the flair, will not give him the passing range that otherwise he would want, he would have to trust others to do so. So I pick Mazwari and Dalo to play as wing backs. And I deliberately put Dalo on the right wing back and Mazwari on the left wing back because Dalo can come into midfield. We've seen him do that a lot. But I fancy him on the right. And I fancied Mazwari on the left simply because of how I've played the inside forwards. So in the inside forwards, I've played Bruno Fernandes on the left and I played Amad Diallo on the right. Now, Amad Diallo can be very comfortable going wide, starting wide and ending up narrow. But Bruno Fernandes will surely start narrow and try to go wide. But the Bruno might not have to go wide. He might have to start high and drop deep or start deep and go forward. So whereas Amad Diallo's run will be, diagonal towards the line, I'm expecting Bruno Fernandes's run to be vertical. So he's coming deep and he's going forward because Mazwari can offer him width on that side. So I'm expecting that Dalo, when you watch him play, the way he uses his wing backs, they are all not flying. Ruben Amorim's wing backs are all not flying. One is going to fly and one is going to tuck in to be the third midfielder, right? So I'm expecting that Dalo tucks in more to be the third midfielder and Mazwari provides more width. We've seen him, his brilliant recrosses. He's a good dribbler. He's good with receiving the ball with his feet. He passes the ball really well with his weaker left foot. And it doesn't look like when he plays on the left, defending in that body posture is a problem for him. So I'm trusting Mazraoui to provide width as a wing back on the left hand side. Whereas Fernandes, instead of having to work as a winger and also as a half 10, Bruno Fernandes has to work as a number 8 and also a half 10.
Yeah.
So Amad Diallo will work as a right winger and a half 10, but Bruno Fernandes will work as an 8 and a half 10, and Mazraoui will do the proper wing back job. And Diego Dallo, when he has the opportunity to attack the line, surely he will go for it. But I'm thinking that he will be more careful in keeping the balance in the middle of the park, so that when Mazraoui overlaps and Ugarte or Casemiro drifts, it's going to be Dallo who keeps that midfield three intact and compact and protect the team. Then I picked Marcus Rashford because the best runner in behind lines when it comes to timing, when it comes to pace, and when it comes to angling in Man United, in fact, in the whole of the English national team, in my opinion, has got to be Marcus Rashford. Not even Bukayo Saka does that better than him. Not even Jack Grealish or Gordon. It's when Rashford does that. And we've seen how Ruben Amorim's number 9 plays. He's not always going to be hanging in the box. He's not a fox in the box kind of number 9. He needs to, start his runs from deep and then end up getting in behind the lines. Because, like I said, Ruben Amorim's team has a way of sapping you close to him, and then he unleashes with very good passes. And so you can trust that. That is why I say if Bruno is going to play as an 8.5, 10, if Bruno is picking up the ball in deep central midfield role, he can look for the run of Amad Diallo. He can look for the run of Marcus Rashford. He can find the run of Mazraoui if he's overlapping. And I'm trusting because Rashford is a better runner off the ball than both Zexi and Rasmus Højlund. So whereas even the Rashford doesn't like playing as a number 9, this wouldn't be the typical old-fashioned number 9 where he has to hang around the box, back to defender. This one is going to be more or less, making those runs and getting in behind the spaces. And he would also have the freedom. I know what Ruben Amorim strikers does, or they do. They have the freedom to start their runs from wherever. They could be on the left, they could be on the right, they could go down the middle. Like it's not like you are on the center back. You just have to make your run through the spaces that are available in the front line. And I think that if he's able to coach Marcus Rashford to that, if he's able to pass on that information, Marcus Rashford is Man United's best outlet when it comes to those jobs. This team, because of how Ruben Amorim plays, and because of limitations with Man United, and how I think these players are able to fit it. But a quick mention to a player like Mason Mount. I think that if he is fit and he's sharp, he can also benefit from this system. Because in that half 10, hard working half 10 job, Mason Mount is not new to this. He's done that at Frank Lampard's Derby County. He did as a number 10 for Chelsea. And then under Thomas Tuchel, he excelled even better playing as the half 10 number 8 kind of role, and he excelled at it. So that won't be too new to him. If he's fit and he's sharp, he could be very, very instrumental to Ruben Amorim's style of system.
Charlie, that's a good breakdown. I really enjoyed that. I really, really, really enjoyed that. Charlie, the boy, ball.
When you're having conversation with people like you, Charlie, you always make you learn, bro.
Charlie. Okay, now this is the surprise that none of you know. I asked Kwame to form his team, and guess what? The same team that Sicho made, Kwame made exactly the same team.
No way. No,
I am not kidding anyone. I am not kidding anyone.
So all I'm going to say...
what are you going to say?
So all I'm going to say is
we didn't share that information.
For that breakdown.
I took
round of applause for that breakdown. Round of applause. Because whoever was going to go first was probably going to end up saying what the other person was going to say. So Shito actually nailed it. He killed it. So I'm going to go on a slightly different tangent because he said almost all the most salient points.
Yeah.
Before anything, our guests and our viewers should know that we picked this squad not to say this is the most ideal squad to probably play in the next 10 games or 15 games until the end of the season. Like Cicho said, it's for the beginning of Amorim's reign, the players who are available, the players who are fit. And I picked the squad based off the fact that there has to be a seamless transition from Ruud van Nistelrooy's, from Erik ten Hag through Ruud van Nistelrooy's tenure to Amorim's tenure. For anybody, any sensible coach, he would look at the players who are fit now, the players who are playing now, the players who are in form, and go with it. Go with as much as possible, and see which players fit into the system. So people ask questions that, so what's with Kobbie Mainoo? Where does he fit in? We are not saying Kobbie Mainoo will probably not be playing in 5 or 6 games. But for starters, don't fix something that is not broken. We've seen Casemiro and Ugarte is working. It stabilized us. Defensively, we've not been so solid. But when you play 2 defensive midfielders, it works for now. He can start with that for now. Why should Rashford start instead of Rasmus Højlund? I don't think any manager walks into the job right now, and the first thing he wants to create is issues with the senior players. I know this will sound controversial for some people, these players have been here for a long time, and these players can be problems and blah, blah, blah. But when you are sensible, when you have sense, when you walk into a dressing room like that, you read a room, right? You try and get certain people on your side for starters. When those people don't meet the standards, it's easy for you to even use them as scapegoats for the rest of the squad to step up in their stead. Rashford, Casemiro are senior players. They are probably on their biggest contracts at the football club by Bruno Fernandes. They fit the system like Sichu has actually described, for starters. So you put them in there. They should lead the way. They should lead your charge. But if it doesn't work, you can always substitute them, and that will be justified. They would have nothing to say. And they can be examples. They can be, in quotes, scapegoats for the rest of the squad to go like, even if these guys are not stepping up, you can't afford not to step up. Correct. You really have to up here.
Correct.
And the other thing about the formation, the system is it's more dynamic than people just go like it's just a 3-4-2-1. No. I think, like Sicho pointed out, he said he hasn't watched games where they seem to dominate possession. Fortunately, I've been able to watch a lot of the Portuguese games. And in Portugal, most of the time, they have the possession. If they're not playing against Benfica or Porto, it's just possession all the time. So there are variations to the system in-game. When we are playing against weaker opposition, and I'm sure it will be the case this weekend when we play against Ipswich, where we would expect most of the ball, we expect to dominate the ball. That system is basically a 3-2-5. You have 5 forwards because the wing backs are literally part of the attack almost all the time. And like Citro said, the centre backs are crucial in the build-up because it's just the 3 of them at the back there. Sometimes it's even 2 because they split. The wide centre backs kind of split in certain ways, in certain build-ups. So in-game, it varies. Against stiffer opposition, for instance, you're playing against a Manchester City, you would see that formation probably looks like a 5-4-1, and people will be saying, why do we look so defensive? So in-game, it changes. It's never constant. There are huge dynamics when it comes to how the system is, but how the system is actually executed. But most importantly, players should work hard. We saw from that video, the most interesting part of the 7-minute clip was where players, when an individual loses the ball, they have to track back. That stood out for me. Because if players are not going to work hard, the system won't work.
That's true.
It's basically a system based on hard work. The identity of the team is not the formation, like you said, Kwame. It's the character of the team, the application of the principles. That should be a hard-working team. We should be looking at that Manchester United team and describe it like we describe a Liverpool team and say, that is an aggressive team. It's not about it. See, if you ask me what's that bad man at Liverpool's name?
And Slot's
formation actually a system. I can't even tell you now. But what I can tell you is that team is as hard-working as hell. They don't stop.
Yeah.
There has been that smooth transition from Klopp's hard-working Liverpool team to his team. And that's what we want to see. Because you don't want to see people just jogging off the ball. That's why, for instance, I'll go back to Marcus Rashford. Playing him down the middle makes sense because one of his weaknesses is actually tracking back. And in a system where he plays as the center forward, he doesn't have to track back a winger or a fullback every single time. He has to concentrate and use all his energy in forward areas. And we need him to actually stretch the defense. That's what Gyökeres does. He stretches the defense every single time. And there is no better person at this football club at doing that than Rashford. I don't care what anybody says about the £70 million kid that we signed or the other kid who is a complete misfit. The strikers that we have signed for me, are not up to it. If Rashford is not able to pull it off, I don't expect the other two. I don't expect much from the other two. What I do expect this club to do is to address the centre forward position in the summer. United should not be relying on kits or a makeshift number 9, because that's what Marcus Rashford actually is. Let's be honest. He did that 2 seasons ago for us. He was able to score 30 goals. But that's not him.
Yeah.
He has also proved over time that he can't consistently give you that. What we have to do is not play with that position. Ferguson never played with that position. He always went out for the best, from Teddy Sheringham to Andy Cole to
Dwight
York. He never stopped. Even when we lost Wood van Nistelrooy, there was a Louis Saar, because Louis Saar was now banging in the at Fulham. There was who else?
Robin van Persie came in to win the league.
He just Dimitar Berbatov was literally the best striker in the league for playing for Spurs. But he never ever stopped. That position, you don't play with it. You don't play with your foot. We moved from signing oldish, almost at the end of their career strikers over the past 10 years to signing players who are way too young to be carrying the burden of being a number 9 for Manchester United. We have to find middle ground.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. We have to find middle ground. There's a striker who is bang on form. He's on heat. He can't stop scoring. And guess what? He played for the manager whom we just brought into the football. Why don't you just go for him to come and fix our striking issue?
Yeah.
We can make do now, but in the future, I think we have to solve the number 9 position.
We have to solve the number 9 position. I think it's very crucial, very, very crucial that we deal with that specific situation, because Charlie, Zex, I don't know.
He's not sexy no more. Sexy is not sexy.
Where is Danny when you need him? Where is Danny when you need him?
So Joseph Zex is interesting because, look, he probably is one of those players who, if he works hard, can be also vying for that half-10 job. He's never really a striker, in my opinion, but he's one of those who, in and around the striker, who has to drop deep and pull other players around, can do the job. But when you look at the competition around in those positions, you wonder if he can fit, and
I don't think he fits.
He's just a midfield.
It's a midfield. Because see, if we play the system, if we played a 3-4-1-2, 1-2 meaning that you have 2 wide forwards who are literally strikers, right? With him being the number 10, then it makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah.
But unfortunately, that's not the system that this coach wants to deploy. He prefers to
find where he fits. Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
But what I would say is it comes back to our transfer strategy, and I would commend Ineos for this, because you start up to bring this boy in again, Rasmus Højlund, cost 70 million pounds. Ten Hag's agency was involved in that whole deal. They came SCG. They were nowhere. They took charge of the club, and a player who should be worth 40 million pounds, we ended up spending 70 million pounds on. Anthony, who should have probably been worth 30-40 million pounds, we ended up spending 85 million pounds on. You're wondering what was going on in the background. But what Ineos have tried to do, at least from the very first major window that we've seen, is to get players for the right prices, negotiate really hard to get players for the right prices. The reason you do that is if you want to offload these players, it shouldn't be that difficult to offload a player who did not cost so much money and it's not on silly wages.
And Zex is on some very low wage, as we know.
Very low wages, under £100,000 a week. And he costs 36 million pounds. If you ask an Italian club right now, right, do you want Zexi back for the same amount of money, for similar wages, they'll bite your hand off because he fits that league. It's all about certain players fit certain leagues, right?
Yeah.
The Italian clubs like Milan and Juve were interested in him before we got him. If you want to get rid of Zexi, it shouldn't be so difficult to do that. And we should do it with ruthlessness, because the very best teams, when they want to really get to the top really quickly, they're a bit ruthless. City, when Pep came to City the very first time, he made some mistakes in his very first season. Those players, Nolito and the goalkeeper from Barca, they were sold immediately. You don't waste your time. Mikel Arteta, in building the Arsenal squad to the level that they are, was absolutely ruthless.
He buy and sell.
They even took hits on. They don't care. Like, it didn't work. It's okay. Ramsdale, it's okay, you go, next goalkeeper. You should be ruthless. We don't expect Ineos to get 100% success rates in transfers. It's almost impossible.
No.
I always say this, not all signings are supposed to work. If you understand this as a fan, you'll be able to deal with certain things. But in order to be successful, you should ruthlessly correct your mistakes. So if we need a striker in the summer, get rid of Zexi. Get rid of him. Just get rid of him and bring in Gyökeres. And we'll just move on from it.
Sijo, let's wrap it up with the game against Ipswich. How do you expect it to play out? Kwame has just touched a bit on it. We have just 5 minutes to go. Less than that.
Yeah, unfortunately for Ipswich, the momentum that they would have carried into this game was killed by the international break. You know, they had a great result against Spurs. They would have been wanting to go again against Man United under a new coach, who everybody's uncertain if the players will be on board with how he wants to play. But the coach has had some time to work with some very important players in the team. And that's the thing. There are some very important players in the team who didn't travel for the international break, like Casemiro, Marcus Rashford. They are some very good players. So I think Man United are going to dominate it. When you watch Ipswich play, the young game is very modeled around energy, right? The game is very modeled around pressing hard, chasing down the balls, fighting for balls, and they've got some at their level lethal finishers in the team. They don't pass up chances. It's that they're not creating them, but the few they create, they take them home. So that is what United might have to be mindful. But we also need to know that in their quest to chase down every ball and press hard and win every ball, sometimes it's a bit not calculated. So they leave spaces because they are sometimes overzealous. There are times where defenders should know when to back off and not engage so that he can occupy a space. But you see a lot of their players are over-engaging. And I think that is where Man United can find those spaces. And with a new manager in, I think United's feel-good factor around the club is going to be what is going to be important. I think United are going to win against Ipswich to set a tone for Amorim's tenure.
I mean, 2 minutes. Is the bounce going to be huge? Huge bounce.
It's going to be huge. And the fixture, he's walking into a good set of fixtures to start with. I mean, if he was to handpick any set of fixtures to start his tenure with, I would probably say he'll pick those teams. He'll pick an Ipswich, he'll pick a Southampton, something like that to start with. I think Ipswich won that was their first game, their first win in the season.
Yes, that's right.
Thank God for the international break. It stops the momentum. So we should go in there like how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer went to, was it Cardiff, romped 5-1 or something, and then go out of there, and the feel good factor just continue. I think we probably win 2 or 3-0 comfortably.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Thank you very much, guys. Charlie, I really enjoyed this episode. It was such a good one. The Dulac Sicho
loved it,
and the Afro Kwame, the Kwame with the hat on. Charlie, different levels. It's been great having you. Remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also leave a comment. We know you enjoyed it, so remember to leave a comment for us. We enjoy all the comments that you give to us and how much you enjoy watching this podcast. We'll see you right after the game against Ipswich to do a post-match analysis. I'm trying to get sexy Danny into this on that day for us to talk about sexy. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great time. Bye-bye.